Quitting your job to get rich is one of the biggest mistakes you can make, because ironically, your job might be the exact thing that makes you wealthy. So I'm not going to tell you to stay in your job forever, but I'm also not going to tell you to leave your job tomorrow. I'm offering a middle ground, a sensible solution that people kind of talk about, but fail to actually explain why it's the best. And this roadmap, this blueprint that I'm going to share with you today is how I personally took myself out of the rat race at 21 years of age and onto the path that I actually wanted to pursue. This is how I hit my financial milestones and how you can too. We're going to be talking a bit about investing in building a business and developing your mindset and belief system. But first, what I want you to understand is that your best shot at actually building that wealth and the cash flow required to actually get yourself out of the rat race is by getting out of survival mode, by building a stable foundation. And so step one is income. The first thing that you need to be having is cash flow. You can't save your way to $1 million. You can't save your way out of your job. Cash flow is number one. And so this income is likely going to come by way of your job, a 9 to 5. And I, like many others, I wasn't trying to hear it when I was younger as an ambitious entrepreneur, but you do need a job. How else are you going to invest? How else are you going to build that foundation? You need some sort of stable or relatively stable income. And I say this because even if you put entrepreneurship to the side, even if you never pursue business or a high ROI venture ever again, you can still retire as a millionaire with a consistent, regular person's income, with a working person's wage, because you can become a net worth millionaire on any wage by just consistently investing that income, living below your means and just slowly compounding. If you've ever read The Millionaire Next Door, you may remember they're finding that teachers, school teachers and accountants are consistently the most common job of self-made millionaires. Teachers and accountants. And that's because they save, they watch what they spend and they're often on the frugal side. They prioritize steady investing, steady accumulation over chasing high income and high status. And it might sound like a boring way to millionaire status, but boring is simple, it's effective, and it's actually very accessible for any person, gender, race or class. Everybody, and I mean everybody living in a high income country, everybody living in the West should be aiming to retire as a net worth millionaire, because most people actually can. Most people can and will become net worth millionaires if they actually approach investing in the correct way. And this is why I say that the first and most important step is income. And again, even if everything goes wrong, let's say life, business, it doesn't go according to plan, and obviously it won't. And we'll get onto why you won't fail in a second, but hypothetically, at least you have had an income. So at least you would have your hundreds of thousands, if not your million at retirement. And this is not about having a backup plan. It's more about having that financial stability that actually allows you to take on risk and think from a place of stability, from a place of abundance, as opposed to from a place of survival and scarcity. Because you do not want to be building a business from a place of survival. You can't think rationally about your business long term when you're anxious about when your next meal is going to come from and how you're going to make the money for the rent this month. Stability and abundance, everything else builds on from here. And so build your business at the same time. Try your very hardest, work part-time if you have to. I've spoken about it before, but take a pay cut, work a lower paying, simpler job if you're young and you have no responsibilities. But step 2 is to eliminate debts and set aside an emergency fund. I'm going to flash some text on screen here, but before investing, you need to first eliminate all bad debts. So I'm not talking about a mortgage, but any credit card debts, bad debts, you want to get rid of them. And also aim to have an emergency fund. But again, the main point is that, like I was saying, you're going to need that income to top up your emergency fund when you need it. Because bro, you never know when life will hit you. Again, especially if you have a car, kids and responsibility. But anyway, yeah, not financial advice. So boom. Step 3 is to now identify your why. Why do you want this financial milestone? Why do you want to achieve financial freedom? So what does it mean to you? Have a clear direction of where you want to be going. You don't have to have a number in mind. You don't have to have a financial milestone posted on your wall or above your bed, but have an idea. And personally, I like to set targets and goals a little bit differently. So I get a little overwhelmed if I overplan and tell myself that, I'm going to hit 3 million. So instead, I tell myself that, okay, I'm already at, let's say 100k. My next target is 120, then 150k, then 200, 300, 500. And I'll just keep adjusting. I'll keep on reaching those new levels. I'll acquire the skill set, the mindset, beliefs and knowledge to actually cross that bridge when I get there. And so I've already come from zero. I've already started this journey with nothing. And so I can continue on my journey and pick up what I need to know and learn on the way. I feel that one of the best determinants of success is ability to handle stress and uncertainty. And don't panic if you feel like this isn't you, because everything is a skill and you can learn all and every skill. People learn how to develop stress tolerance and the ability to handle uncertainty by actually being in the uncertainty. You know, you can't read a textbook on how to handle stress. You just live in it. You have to actually just dive into the pool. You have to begin your journey to start developing. And you know, you aren't gonna receive a call to adventure. You aren't gonna have a wise master or sensei to guide you or hold your hand. You have to just take that leap into the unknown. And then you realize that, oh, okay, that wasn't that bad after all. Maybe it was kind of easy actually. But yeah, just aim to imagine yourself already successful. So keep that target in mind, keep that goal in mind every morning, and have that clear direction of where you want to go. Just get started on it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just start your journey. Whether it's a business, a side hustle, a skill set, just start. You don't have to design an exact plan, a trajectory for your life, but aim to carry yourself with direction, conviction. All right, so step 4. So far, to recap, you have no bad debts, you have some form of emergency fund, and you have actually started your journey. So you've jumped into the pool and you're on your way to learning on the job. So maybe now you've started that business, or you are learning the high income skill, and you can now visualize a sort of rough path for yourself. And so now you have got all of that out of the way. Now you want to be aiming to invest, as this is what actually gives you that stability to later focus on scaling, to focus on really increasing the income from your business. And so the best system that actually allows you to retire wealthy is by investing first and spending second. And so when your money comes in, when you get paid, you want to be able to prioritize bills, rent, etc. first, and then aim to invest as much as you are willing and able to. And again, ideally, if you want to be reaching your goals as fast as possible, if you really want to maximize compounding, then you may want to invest a little bit more. You know, I've personally had many months where bills were paid, money was then invested, and I basically had no disposable income at all. I had no money left over, and I was happy with that because I chose to do it. And I'm not saying that you can't have spending money, but I had a period of doing this because I was just more interested in investing. I was more hungry, and I had a real itch to really build up my account, and I was having a lot of fun learning about investment. I was having fun earning and seeing my money go up month on month. And so I chose to put luxuries and comfort to the side because maximizing investing to the nth degree was my primary goal at the time. And it's only now that I allow myself to have some disposable income. You know, I'm still very frugal, but you know, because I love this entrepreneurial journey, because I'm focused and I'm actually having fun building wealth. But now, because I have already built a decent foundation, I'm more willing and able to take my foot off the gas and spend some money, because I guess there's less of an opportunity cost. You know, I spend my money on experiences, items, and even higher ROI things like education, books. But again, as long as you invest, as long as you pay the bills, you know, if you want to buy the dumb stuff, if you want to go and buy a luxury here and there, then go ahead, that's fine. But as long as you are building, as long as you are earning and enjoying the ride, that's all that matters in my opinion. And so step number 5. So now you have fully gotten investing fundamentals under control, and so now you can focus on actually finding ways to increase your income. And this will often look very different depending on your lifestyle. You know, maybe you want to aim to increase your salary, but another person, they may choose to invest more of their time into building a side hustle. And I am such a big fan of side hustles. I will always tell people to be cooking up a side hustle in the background, because side hustles are not about the money, not at all. You know, during the early stage of business, people make very little money, if any at all. But side hustles are more about building your belief system, because you allow yourself to challenge that perception that your job controls or dictates your income. You know, your job can make up a part of your income. A job can make up the majority, 99% of your income, but it does not control you or your earning potential, because you are the one that controls your earning potential. And that is the power of business, side hustles, especially in today's day and age. And by actually doing business, when you actually properly delve in, you see for yourself that making money online is actually possible and within your reach, and not just some vague, lofty goal. And so even if you only make $5 in a given month, even if it's not a lot of money, you are challenging your limiting beliefs. That's the most important part. And the longer you keep at it, the longer you stay persistent and find ways to improve constantly, given some time and hard work, you'll be making $50 a month, then $100, then $200 and higher. And so now you have extra money that you have almost plucked out of the air. You can now use this money in the real world to contribute to your rent or to buy groceries. And maybe now you decide to invest more. Maybe your business starts to really take off, so you go part-time and you put an investment into your side hustle. Remember always that you are the one that dictates your income. You know, you you are the asset, not your job, not your boss or your company. You are the asset. And so you will begin to adopt the beliefs of an entrepreneur. You'll start to adopt this mindset and belief system by actually getting started and making your first dollar online. Again, it's less about the money and more about the beliefs. And like I was saying, eventually you might decide to go part-time, or you might put more of a investment, a time investment into your business, because now you have all your debts paid off. You have your future expenses covered, you're building your investments, and this all gives you the stability and capacity to take on further risk, to actually delve into business, because you can't take on risk if you have no income. You can't take on risk without a job. And that's the whole point of what I'm saying here. I quit my job when I had 100k invested. I felt that I could take my foot off the gas. I felt that I had a stable foundation that I could basically retire with a little bit of extra contribution and with some time, even if business didn't go to plan. And so I was willing to therefore take that risk because I had that stable foundation. And it is at this stage where you can now get deeper into business. With your stable foundation, with your investments and newfound beliefs, you can cut out the noise. You can find like-minded people and community, and you can start to genuinely become the person who is worthy of making some serious money. And again, this stable foundation is so important in nurturing this belief system and allowing yourself to approach business and making money online from a place of abundance and strategy. Because if you were to quit your job tomorrow and decide to go all in on business, you would be coming from a place of scarcity. You'll be telling yourself that, I need to get rich now, I need to start making money now. And when that money doesn't come as quick as you expected, you will be left disheartened and unmotivated. And again, that's why your income, that's why your investment portfolio, your job, they just give you that stability to actually approach your side hustle from a healthy place of strategy and abundance. You have money to throw wherever you want. You have the stability to take on risk. You have a roof over your head to actually focus on your business, giving you the best possible foundation for your business to take off. So start a service business, go into freelancing or e-commerce, ideally an online business, so you have location freedom. Build a software company, social media marketing, build a following on social media, start a paid ads agency. It doesn't matter what it is, just pick what you're interested in and stick at it. Because the main thing is to just prove to yourself that making money is possible, making money online is possible. Just go all in on that one path, build that cash flow, start earning, start saving more. This is how you can seriously stack up. This is how you can really start to build. But yeah, that's about it from me. If you are serious about building wealth and you enjoy this video, then watch this video here that YouTube thinks you'll like.